Early in the First World War, this village in northern France had become sanctuary for 11 British soldiers. Among them was Private Fred Innocent from Lenton in Nottingham. 2 French villagers were helping the men hide from the Germans. Léonie Loger sheltering some at the local mill, Vincent Chalandre looking after the others in his attic. In December 1914, though, the Germans raided Léonie's mill, and even though the soldiers avoided capture, it was decided they should all stay at Vincent's house from now on. How well known within the village was the soldiers' presence?
I think it was pretty well known. It was pretty well known. There weren't many Germans here, but it was common knowledge that they were here.
The Germans had their suspicions too. In the end, though, it was an unusual love triangle which gave the soldiers away. Vincent Chalandre had a son, Clovis, who was 16. Often he'd be found here, the home of a woman called Blanche Maréchal, with whom he was having an affair. However, Blanche was seeing another man, 66-year-old Louis Bachelet. Some loose pillow talk, it seems, meant he also knew about the British soldiers. The story goes that Bachelet came here to Blanche's house one night and found her and young Clovis in the throes of passion. The 2 love rivals came to blows. Bachelet came off worse and shouted, "You will pay for this. Tomorrow I will inform on you and the English. You will all be shot." He was true to his word. On the 22nd of February 1915, the Germans turned up in Iran with retribution in mind. The British soldiers and Vincent Chalandre were taken away to the German headquarters in the town of Guise. The Chalandre family home, which once stood here, was burnt to the ground. So was Léonie Loger's mill. 3 days later, after a summary trial, the Iran 12 were brought here to Guise Château for execution. At this spot, in a final brutal act, they were made to dig their own graves. I'm retracing the Iran 12's final steps with Vincent Chalandre's grandson and historian Dr. Hedley Mallock from Bingham in Nottinghamshire.
Je suis révolté surtout par les interrogatoires de ces jeunes Britanniques, de mon grand-père, de mon père qui n'avait que 16 ans, où ça a été d'une brutalité et d'une sauvagerie exceptionnelle.
So Hedley, the outline of the trench is still quite visible here,
Yes.
isn't it?
This is the outline of one of the 2 trenches the soldiers were forced to dig before their execution.
One can only imagine what was going through the minds of Fred and his comrades at this point, but their last thoughts were with their families back home, do you think?
Their last thoughts, as far as we know what they were, was that they should think about the sacrifice they're making, think about it for Great Britain, and to die with some sense of pride.
We don't know how fortunate we are, do we?
Pride, which is felt to this day by Fred Innocent's relatives. His great-niece Janet and her husband David helped fundraise to pay for a memorial in the village of Iran, a tribute to both the soldiers and the villagers who helped them.
The French civilians, the sacrifices they made were just heroic, really, and they did it freely.
Does it make Remembrance Day more meaningful for you?
For me it does, yes, definitely, because it's never really something that I've paid a great deal of attention to in the past, I have to admit. But now, yes, it does. It really means something to me now.
It's only in the last few years that the full story of the Iran 12 has come to light. Their sacrifice now remembered by people from both sides of the Channel. All 12 have now been reburied in the main cemetery in Guise. It's nearly 400 miles from his home city of Nottingham, but Fred Innocent's final resting place is truly among friends.